Hank Johnson was talking to members of the military about what they're doing in Guam, and he says something that doesn't make no kind of sense. And you can see here the person he's talking to is a little befuddled by his point or his question. He's going to make an excuse for it later. I'm going to run the whole thing here, or this portion of their conversation, so you see his excuse doesn't really hold water either. Apparently neither does Guam, according to him. So let's watch.
Now, this is a island that at its widest level is, 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level, or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that. The Guam population, I think, currently about 175,000, and again, with 8,000 Marines and their families, it's an addition of about 25,000 more into the population. And also things like the environment, the sensitive areas of the environment, coral reefs and those kinds of things. And I know that, lots of people don't like to think about that, but, we didn't think about global warming either. And now we do have to think about it. And so I'm concerned from an environmental standpoint whether or not Guam is the best place to do this relocation, but it's actually the only place. Is that correct? This is the best place. This is the farthest west U.S. territory that we own. And, this is part of our nation. And in readdressing the forward presence and posture importance to Pacific Command, Guam is vital to this decision.
Oh, boy. Oh, Hank. No, Hank. Now, look, you heard him say it there. He used his hands. He said, I'm worried if you put too many troops, it'll tip over and capsize. No, that's not how islands work. So today he comes out with a clarification. He says, no, I was suggesting that the island of Guam would literally tip over, except you went like this with your hands. Anyway, and then he said, I was just worried that the number of extra people and Marines on the island would cause a, quote, tipping point, which would adversely affect the island's fragile ecosystem and overburden its already overstressed infrastructure. And that's not what I heard from him. Okay, he didn't talk anything about overstressed infrastructure. In fact, the reason I included that boring second part of it is because he said, also, I'm worried about the environment and the coral reefs, etc. That was his second point. His first point was, it's going to capsize. Man, if that's, wow, if you really thought that, Jesus, that's painful. Wow, that's a United States congressman. Oh, he can't think that, can he? He can't think that if you put too many people on the side of an island, it's going to... Oh, that's painful. I don't know what more to say about that.
All very strong and valid points, Jake.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get over the fact that he speaks that slowly.
What is he, Greenberg?
I was looking at this before, And I was like, man, I just don't think I can listen to it any longer. I can't make it. I don't know how long he was speaking or how long that session or whatever they were doing was, but man, people must have been in tears.
But you're totally right about that. And then, actually, my favorite part of it, when he asked the guy, what happens if it capsizes? And he says, we don't anticipate that. We don't anticipate it tipping over and going into the ocean. I'm sorry, Mr. Congressman. Man, who gets elected to Congress? I mean, it's a little frightening, apparently on both sides.